Hello, everybody. I'm going to start out with remember Burt Parks? Here she comes, Miss America. Sorry about the singing, but I had to do that because our subject today is beauty pageants. And we got a nice one here in Fairmont. We really do. Been going on a long time. My job today is to give you a little background, little history about the Farmers Festival pageants, and then we'll talk about how significant they are and how they add to the culture and the class of our community and how they bring people together because they are that kind of activity. They're not just you win a crown and you go home. There are other things that are done. Farmers Festival started in 1950. The Civitans started it. And they did things a little differently in those days. They did them in April, and they had them on Thursday and Friday. And one of the things they did, of course, and we're going to get into this a little later, one of our future videos is going to be on the festival. They had a big barn dance, and they brought in Slim Mims and the troubadours, and had Johnny Rotelli, the little guy, the midget guy.
Yes.
Did Philip Morris, and they had powerful people, real known people. The festival, the pageant was part of the festival, and they allowed people from anywhere to come in.
Well,
I've seen documents on girls that came all the way from Wilmington that participated, and I've got pictures of the contestants in those days, and so the festival went along as I'm sure you know, for 10 years, and then it stopped in 1960, and it just died. Well, I'm not going to get into a long, detailed conversation about the festival. The Farmers Festival today because we need to reserve that for a later date. For suffice it to say that in 1986, Robeson County was having their bicentennial, and they asked every town in Robeson County to do something for their participation in the bicentennial. So we chose to restart the Farmers Festival. And one of the things that started back was the pageant. And that's when the Fairmont Middle School, where it stands now, was Fairmont High School. And that beautiful auditorium was there. And the Contemporary Homemakers Club, which has disbanded since then, was in charge of the pageant. They decided to keep the pageant just to the girls in the Fairmont area. So they had a boundary, and if you lived outside that, you couldn't participate. And we had some wonderful, wonderful people that participated in the festival over the years. Well, I was fortunate enough to be the MC from 2005, from in the 1990s up to 2005. And because I was elected mayor in 2005, I didn't think it was fair for me to do that and be the MC as well. So, but it was an interesting, very interesting concept. If you've never been backstage or close to backstage on a pageant, it can be very tense.
Yes.
Now, I'm smiling and chuckling a little bit because I know what's coming next. The Contemporary Homemakers Club either got tired of doing it, or their husbands or boyfriends got tired of them staying out for a whole week up at the auditorium with the girls doing the pageant, wear your dress, put on your sash, and they turned it over to Angie Lovin. Angie Lovin is the poster child for Ritalin. Angie Lovin is the most excitable, energetic, upbeat person in the world. If you're able to survive a 10-minute conversation with Angie, then you have really done well.
Yeah.
I was the MC for part of her administration of the pageants. And when you're standing in front of the curtain that's drawn at a podium, trying to announce announcements and what's going on and who's going to be coming up next. And Angie is directly behind the curtain, 6 inches away from your right ear, telling you, slow down, they're not ready yet, speed up, we're opening the curtain, the music's not right, hold on. For 15 straight minutes, it's very, very annoying. But anyway, Angie Lovin is an extremely dedicated person. Absolutely. I've never met anyone like her. I taught her in high school. She was, I know you find this hard to believe, but she was very quiet. She didn't do a lot of talking. I'm sure she did with her friends and all of that, but not in class and not around me. But now, Angie Lovin is a ball of fire, and she has really promoted and turned that festival pageant into something really spectacular. She goes out and collects money. She gets sponsorships. She's devoted to those girls, those young girls, and that pageant's coming up in a couple of weeks. It's coming up on the 11th, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. Chestnut because I'm sure he has a perspective about why these pageants are important. I'm sure he's lived in places where there've been pageants as well, and I want to hear what he has to say.
Most definitely, Mr. Mayor. And you're right. Miss Angie does a wonderful job with the pageantry here in Fairmont, and she's been doing it a while.
Yeah.
And I remember even just last year, I was working with another town on a Christmas parade, and Miss Angie reached out to me. She wanted to make sure that the pageantry girls was able to get there on time and not miss the parade. And we held the parade back for 5 or 10 minutes so they can get there. And it was no problem for everybody there in attendance because they wanted to see them. They wanted to see and appreciate and celebrate with these young girls the efforts that they have put into the pageantry. For a lot of people, the pageantry is all about, looks and that sort of thing. But what Miss Angie has done for our children is really set up a mentorship program for them to be able to reach out and talk to her about things. And she loves them and she cares for them. She travels around with them. They do an excellent job, representing Fairmont at all of our events here locally and when they go to other places. So for us, it's just not about beauty with our pageantry. These are what we would call young statesmen for the town of Fairmont.
Absolutely. That's one of their big jobs.
Yes, they go out and represent the town. And Miss Angie obviously is a big, supporter of that and a major part in that, So I just embrace that to see our children come out of the house, get involved in local community events, and represent our town well.
She took out the beauty part of it and made it a scholarship type pageant.
Yes.
She didn't want to intimidate girls and hurt personal feelings. There is a talent portion of it for some degree, but not completely. Our senior queen this year, Jalen Newberry, who's going to be following in the footsteps of the previous two queens, going to East Carolina University. I watched her dance at the pageant, and then she danced at our Christmas event in the Heritage Center. If she continues her career of dancing and being taught the right things to do, she could easily be a professional dancer.
Most definitely.
And this is a 17-year-old girl who's a graduate from Lumberton High School just recently. You got some really sweet, charming young ladies, and their parents are, you got to thank them.
Of course.
Pageant moms and pageant dads.
Most definitely.
Everywhere one of them goes, parents got to be there with them. And you got to give up something.
Yes, sir.
In your life.
Yes, sir.
To follow these kids around for a year, and they will wear you out.
Yeah, and it's a family fair because not only is Miss Angie involved, and not only their moms and dads, but aunts, uncles, cousins go to these events. And I'm just from across the line in Columbus County, where you have strawberry royalty, watermelon royalty, pecan royalty, yam royalty. These are all events built around to support our community. And the pageantry in all of these places are representative of the community that they come from. So, my thing is we're proud of our pageantry. We're proud of Miss Angie and proud of, the example they set for their peers in school to say, hey, you be a good kid, you do these things, you can represent your town, and we love that.
I'll never forget this as long as I live. I was the Farmers Festival Parade MC from 1988, well, 89, from 89 until 2005. And I will never forget this. If you know anything about Fairmont, right in the middle of downtown, there's what we call the parade reviewing stands, right in front of what used to be Fairmont Drug Store, and now is Angie's female gym. And that's where the speaker stand was, and that's where I was commenting. And there was a lady standing on the ground below me, beneath me, because this is elevated. And I mispronounced her name, her granddaughter's name, as the unit rode by. And she turned around and said to me, "Why did you do that? I mean, I'm in the middle of a parade process." And I apologized vociferously and had to do that. These ladies, grandmas, grandfathers, aunts, uncles, and mothers, they take this seriously.
Yes.
They put a lot into getting their daughter, hundreds of dollars for outfits,
Yes.
hair, the whole 9 yards. Don't mispronounce one of these children's
That's
names.
right.
Don't dare slight one of them and forget not introducing one of them,
Yes,
because you will pay for it dearly.
most definitely.
I would like to personally, we would like to personally invite you to the Fairmont Farmers Festival Scholarship Pageant on October the 11th at 2:00 p.m. at the E.R. Goss Auditorium on the Rosenwald School campus. If you don't know where that is, go to McDonald's, take a left or a right, depending on where you're coming from. Go up 2 blocks, take a little shortcut, and then go straight ahead. And you'll run right into the school.
Yes, sir.
And we'd love to have you come and be a part of that. Angie would love it. And I don't know who's competing this year. I really don't. I haven't seen the list in the paper, but there's always a group.
Let it be a surprise.
Absolutely. And next video, we'll be talking about the King Daddy of Fairmont events, the Farmers Festival
Yes, sir.
itself.